Greetings, welcome back. I wanted to talk a little bit today about a Magnavox AM FM stereo tabletop radio that I had recently worked on. And it's a cool little radio with a lot of interesting features. The model number is at OFMO26. And this thing weighs 30 pounds. It's quite heavy, but it has a few interesting features in it, and that it has 3 chassis in it. Most radios are made with one chassis. It has a separate tuner chassis and a separate FM multiplex chassis and a separate power supply amplifier chassis. And it makes you wonder what Magnavox was doing, because this is about 63 years old. It was made in 1963, towards the end of the run of vacuum tubes for Magnavox, because they moved on to transistorized systems. So I'm wondering if the company had the engineers think up of different ways that they could possibly use up existing stock. I don't know, because the chassis in this unit were actually the same chassis that were used in a couple of the small consoles. And the only difference in, of course, is the tuner glass was vertical instead of horizontal, like this one is horizontal. And also the cabinetry is the same cabinet that they used in their external remote bookshelf speaker that they had sold for some of the consoles. And so I think maybe they were using old stock and just had to come up with something to sell. I don't know, because also I read where towards the end run, at end of 1963 and maybe the beginning of 64, just to sell the rest of their tube models, they were offering a better warranty on them, maybe to get them out the door. I don't know. But I'll talk about a few of the things inside here, especially the speakers. There's an odd speaker in here, one of them. I'll show you that in a little bit. And also the amplifier. It's a single-ended 6BQ5 amplifier, and it is one of the sought-after amplifiers that people are ripping out of these things ever since Dave Gillespie. If you go over to Audio Karma, you'll find that there is quite a bit of talk about the work and re-engineering that he did on this little single-ended amplifier to really make it into a sweet-sounding, low-power amplifier. Now, this is the front. There's a picture of the front before I did anything to it. As you can see, the cabinet's just a little beat up, not too bad, and also the rear, a rear shot here. But talking about some of the things that I did to this, here's a picture of the chassis up on the bench before I touched it. And as you can see, the top of the tuner is pretty rough. The amplifier chassis and the FM multiplex chassis, they were in pretty good shape externally, but because where it had been sitting, I guess a lot of dirt and things accumulated on the tuner chassis. Now, I didn't strip it all down completely, because that would have been, a pretty darn, well, it would have taken too much trouble and work to do that if you had to remove all the components. So I cleaned it up a little bit. So it cleaned up not too bad. You can see picture before. And here's the bottom. I replaced the capacitors. Now, I put some new caps on the inside on this. I just left the can there. I didn't change the can on the tuner. And you can see some of the new caps that I had replaced on the tuner. There weren't too many old paper caps on there to replace. just a few, and some of the electrolytics on the tuner itself. I think on the under the cover on the 3 tubes and the one section, there is a small PC board, and it had one electrolytic on it, a small one. I think it was 4 microfarads that I had to replace. The inside of the multiplex adapter was pretty darn clean. There again, I didn't replace the CAN capacitor there. I just disconnected and put some new caps in there. And also, well, interesting, there were a couple polystyrene capacitors in there that these were really good capacitors as far as tolerance. That's probably why they used them in this tuner section. Now you'll find them in some of the audio guys use them in some of their audio projects, but they checked out pretty good. I disconnected one and checked, and there were no problems there. And so I just left them there instead of trying to source new ones, because the values would be really hard to find. I did find some over in Europe at one of the websites, but by the time it got done shipping and they didn't cost very much in the first place, it wouldn't have been worth it. But the amplifier itself is interesting. As I said, it was one of the ones that Dave Gillespie did a lot of work on, and I left it alone as it is. I just replaced the capacitors in there, and I had to replace the CAN cap. Now, the CAN cap, it had, I think it was 40-40-20, the original one. So there was a 30 in there for the tube, on one of the 2 output tube section. But I had a new 50-50 50 with 4 50s in it, and I put that in, and so that worked out pretty good. The resistor there was a 100 ohm resistor in there that was pretty burnt, and I had 2 50s of a higher wattage that I put in. I think it was a 2 watt. I had some 3 watt 50 ohm that I just put in series, you can see there, and that worked out okay. And you can see the before shot of the amplifier inside, things that I had to replace, and the after. So that worked out pretty good. And I ended up with a slight hum on the amplifier, 120 hertz hum, and I suspect that it's the rectifier tube, because those particular tubes are known to do that. With 6CA4, I think, is that what it may be, and they're known to do that, and it's an original, so I have to get a new one, and I think that's going to solve the low 120 hertz slight hum that you hear in the speakers with the volume down. But a couple other things that were a little unique about this were the speakers. Now, what they did was, where the amplifier sits and where it's mounted, there was not enough room for the tubes and the speaker. It would have hit the back of the speaker where the magnet sits. So what they did was they removed the magnet off the back of the speaker, and they mounted it on the front, which is kind of unique. I've never seen that. So they have that mounted on the front. As you can see the difference there with what it looked like without the magnet on the back, and with my little inspector there. And here is the other speaker. It's normal with magnet there on the back, and actually has a little whizzer cone in the side, want for possibly help with the little bit of high frequencies. But these are 4-ohm speakers, and that's one of the things that Dave Gillespie did, was he came up with 8-ohm transformers, so you could use it on standard 8-ohm speakers instead of running 4-ohm. And it turned out pretty good. It plays okay. And I just have to wonder what Magnavox had in mind when they built these. I don't know how many they built, using 3 chassis that were kind of common to some of their others. I know they reused chassis in some of their bigger consoles. They reused the tuners in the FM multiplex, and used different, more powerful amplifiers. As you can see from the here's a shot of some of the amplifiers that they had in some of their consoles, from different sizes all the way, up to those bigger consoles that had the amplifiers that had the separate parallel 6L6 push-pull for each side for the woofers, and a separate and a single-ended for the tweeter speakers. So that was kind of interesting. I'd like to hear one of them big old consoles. And I imagine it sounds pretty good. And so I've been looking at the schematic here for the single-ended amplifier. And I was thinking on, it might be kind of nice to, I know I said I wouldn't build any other amplifiers because of cost, but I've been thinking about maybe putting together a single-ended using Dave Gillespie's schematic that he ended up coming up with, and I think the output transformers, because I would like 4 and 8-ohm taps. So I see Musical Power Supply has a couple single-ended transformers available in that wattage for hi-fi that would probably work just fine. So we'll see about that if I do that in the future. So other than that, if you have any questions about these, have any experience messing around with one of these old radios, they're pretty fun to play with. So, and you have a good day, and God bless.